19-year-old Kadeem Griffith, one of the 4 men shot in St Augustine on Thursday morning, has died. The other 3 who were shot, 27-year-old businessman Andrew McGregor, 26-year-old Kamani Rodriguez and 29-year-old Kareem John all remain in hospital. The shooting incident took place at about 11:30 a.m. on O'Keefe Street near the University of the West Indies compound in the vicinity of the Sports and Physical Education Center building. 48-year-old taxi driver Abraham Mohammed was hospitalized last night after he was attacked and repeatedly chopped. Reports say the victim of Mancharles Street Felicity was at his home when at around 11:30 p.m. he got into an argument with a man. The suspect allegedly went to his car, got a chopper and chopped Mr. Mohammed several times. He then escaped. Former head of the Central Division Police Senior Superintendent Johnny Abraham says most of the crimes being committed in the country are being done by repeat offenders, and he is questioning what is being done to deal with this. Mr. Abraham told C News there was once a body in place to deal with persons who have been charged with a criminal act, but isn't sure what's taking place now.
I've been in court since I was a sergeant, and all these people, most of these people have been on bail. And you know who committing crime? Repeat offenders, the repeat offenders. They had a nice repeat offender a unit in the police service dealing with repeat offenders, and I think it was squash or something like that, I can't say.
He said crime is a great concern to everyone and people are losing their lives for next to nothing.
As of today, I saw Central Division would have about 18 or 19 murders more than last year figure already. I don't think anybody in China have answers for that because nothing causing murder. People getting killed for next to nothing. Nothing. For next to nothing, people getting killed. You don't even have a motive for somebody killing.
Mr. Abraham noted once a week all divisional commanders meet with the Commissioner of Police to talk about what took place in their district, and a plan is put forward on how to move ahead. In other news now, the Clarkston Be Fishermen say the $1 million assistance for fishermen and those affected as a result of the oil spill and fish kill in the Gulf of Paria is not enough. President of the Clarkston Be Fishermen Association, Kishore Budram, says the Prime Minister must explain how the money would be dispersed.
What it is, I didn't really get to clarify to find out how much ports they're going to pay. So if you know how much ports they're going to pay, you're going to have an idea what is the sum of money the fisher folk and them going to get. And I can't say that if they're giving the money to vendors, because the vendors was protesting all the time too.
On Thursday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said the money is not compensation, but financial assistance for those who would have been affected as a result of public fear over the safety of local fish. Dr. Rowley said the matter of compensation for those affected still had to be determined, as the cause of the event is still being investigated.
It is not compensation, it is assistance. We have also instructed that Petrotrin identify any and all responsibilities which it may have with respect to oil leak, oil spill in the area, because if it is determined that Petrotrin's activities would have caused any outcome, there are legal liabilities which Petrotrin must discharge, and that's where the compensation comes in.
And Minister of Agriculture Clarence Rambarat said compensation will be determined after an independent test is completed. He noted at this time the government is looking at ways to ease the damage on the industry. So for more on these and other stories, you can visit our Facebook and Twitter pages at CNews Live. You can also visit our website at ctvtt.com. The Steelworkers Union says it has gone on a drive to collect books and school essentials for ArcelorMittal workers who lost their jobs earlier this year. President Christopher Henry spoke with CNews this morning and said the workers who were sent home are still finding it hard to get jobs to match their skills. As such, they are working to relieve the burden.
The workers themselves who had children and like Form 1, 2, 3 are sending their books in slowly but surely, and we are sorting it and sending out information as to what books we have so that people could come in. We also on a hamper drive where we generated about 100 hampers with along with some at church and some citizens who would have assisted us, and we produced some hampers, small hampers, so workers who can't afford groceries.
The Steelworkers Union has also expressed its interest in purchasing shares at the ArcelorMittal steel plant. It says it is trying to put together a group of investors to buy the Point Leases industrial estate and resume operations. The workers want to be part owners with the investor coming to the country.
He is now looking at it, but I think we wrote for a meeting with him so that we can be updated as it is. So that we haven't gotten that meeting yet right now. And we, through the grapevine, should have understand that there are more investors interested.
They are planning to give the government a proposal on their position. Joint Trade Union Movement leader Ansel Roger is calling on the Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to have dialogue with the Joint Trade Union Movement. He spoke to the media before presenting a letter to the office of the Prime Minister today. He said there are outstanding negotiations that are still to be settled, but Finance Minister Com Imbert is not holding his end.
And we feel that the Minister of Finance is the major bugbear in the final settlement of all of these major outstanding negotiations. And so we made the point last week, a point that the country must take notice of, indeed the government must take notice of, that the last government sought to penalize members of the Joint Trade Union Movement and OWTU in particular for standing up against corruption and malfeasance and all of those bad governance.
In light of the People's National Movement celebration of 60 years in existence, high praises are being sung to the late Prime Minister Patrick Manning for his contributions in developing the country. Former Mayor of Port of Spain, Murchison Brown, recalled his time with Mr. Manning, saying he was responsible for much of the development in the capital city.
To thank our former Prime Minister, God bless his soul, for that vision, because I had the opportunity of talking with him on many occasions, so I had an idea of what his vision was for the city of Port of Spain, and we see it here today. That legacy is there.
Mr. Brown said, keeping with the spirit of the party, a series of religious Thanksgiving services are set to take place, adding to that each and every denomination will participate. Among other events on the cards are a calypso competition, as well as an exhibition in honor of the late Dr. Eric Williams, George Chambers and Patrick Manning. Now here's a look at what's taking place in the region.
The British Virgin Islands have confirmed 5 cases of the Zika virus. 3 of the cases were tested locally. Their medical officer of health, Dr. Ronald Georges, stated that with neighboring islands contracting the virus, it was only a matter of time for the territory to confirm cases. A former U.S. Virgin Islands senator was arrested on June 29, 2016 in Modena, Italy, and extradited on Wednesday for allegedly defrauding the government of the U.S. Virgin Islands of tens of thousands of dollars while he served as a senator in the territorial legislature. Wayne Anthony Gunnar Charles, 55, of St. Croix, USVI, was indicted on October 1, 2015, with 2 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of federal program embezzlement. According to the indictment, from 2009 to 2011, James served as the chair of the Senate Committee on Youth, Education and Culture in the 28th legislature of the Virgin Islands. A project has been launched in Jamaica that will see police officers wearing body cameras, and a local human rights group, Jamaicans for Justice, is hoping it will bring an end to questionable killings by law enforcement officers. The way the island's top cop sees it, though, the devices will provide evidence against false accusations. In Barbados, the National Council for Substance Abuse, or NCSA, said it was concerned about the number of girls between the ages of 12 and 18 involved in illegal drugs, either directly or indirectly. NCSA manager Betty Hunt said for some time they have been involved in the juvenile courts, and a lot of times when these young girls are charged for wandering, there is some type of drug abuse involved. In addition, the NCSA manager said it was becoming more difficult to manage and police the different trends with new synthetic drugs entering the market.
And now it's time for a look at the weather forecast.
The wet season carries on, and today we could be seeing a bit more moisture hanging around Trinidad and Tobago. Look for partly cloudy skies with daytime showers and the possibility of thunder being heard during the heat of the day around the western areas. Look for a hot and humid 32 degrees Celsius in Tobago and 35 degrees Celsius in Trinidad. For mariners, look for mainly smooth seas through the Caribbean, less than 1 meter up to 1.5 meters out in the Atlantic, with east-southeasterly winds of 10 to 15 knots and east-northeasterly swells of 9 to 16 seconds. That's the latest weather, and I am meteorologist Ian Wallace.
Thank you very much, Ian Wallace. International developments now, and former Prime Minister Stephen Hart has given up his seat as an MP, leaving Canadian politics after more than 20 years to focus on his businesses. The news comes 10 months after Mr. Harper lost the election to Justin Trudeau and then resigned as Conservative leader. He said representing Calgary in Parliament had been an honour. He was first elected as a Reform MP in 1993 and later led the Conservative Party to 3 election victories. In a written statement, he said, quote, "Friends, we did a lot together, but I know the best is yet to come," end quote. And that's a look at the C News report at noon. C News, powered by our team of journalists and producers across the Republic and the region, on television, radio and online. C News, your country, our job.